Chapter 1 Nina's First Mistake. Drinking. Did I end my defense? I was not supposed to be here. This was a fancy, high society event filled with rich people who smelled like wealth and expensive betrayal. Meanwhile, I was an unemployed disaster who snuck in through the back because my friend told me there'd be free champagne and fancy shrimp. Spoiler alert, I had too much champagne and absolutely no shrimp. Which explains why, in my champagne-fueled brain, I thought it was a good idea to walk up to the most ridiculously handsome man in the room, get on one knee, and say the words that would destroy my life forever. Nina's second mistake? Proposing to Adrian Jordan. Adrian Jordan, I slurred dramatically, my arms flailing like I was a knight in an epic battle. Will you do me the honor of being my husband? The entire ballroom fell into shocked silence. I heard a champagne glass shatter somewhere. Someone gasped so hard I thought they were dying, and then, the man himself turned to face me, the billionaire I accidentally proposed to. 1. Adrian Jordan. 2. CEO of Jordan Industries. 3. Ruthless, terrifying, ridiculously rich. 4. Has a face that belongs on a most wanted list for making women weak in the knees. 5. Definitely someone I should not be speaking to. He looked down at me, his sharp, ice blue eyes glinting with something amused, dangerous, intrigued. Then, in a deep, silk-wrapped in danger kind of voice, he said, "Sure." Wait. Sure. Nina's third mistake? Existing. My brain short-circuited. My body forgot how to function. This was not supposed to happen. Rich, terrifying billionaires were supposed to laugh off drunken proposals. They were supposed to say, "Who are you?" Or security, "Remove this woman." Not freaking agree to it. And yet, Adrian Jordan was standing there, his lips curling into a devastating smirk, watching me have an internal meltdown. A what? I choked. "You proposed, didn't you?" He said smoothly. "Yeah, but," and I said yes. I gawked. "Why?" He leaned in slightly, his cologne making my oxygen-deprived brain go haywire. His voice was a low whisper, meant only for me. Let's just say, "I find you amusing." Before I could fully process my impending doom, the sound of camera shutters exploded around us. Paparazzi everywhere. Nina's fourth mistake? Not running away immediately, the cameras flashed, the reporters screamed, and suddenly, the news of our engagement was everywhere. Chapter 2. I groaned. My head felt like a marching band was stomping inside my skull, playing the world's worst drum solo. "And never drinking again," I muttered, rolling over, and promptly fell off the most ridiculously soft bed I had ever touched. Wait. Bed? I shot up like a zombie resurrecting from the dead. This was not my apartment. This was not my second-hand mattress that smelled vaguely like disappointment. This was a luxury penthouse suite. A very expensive, stupidly extravagant, painfully rich-looking hotel room, and standing by the massive floor-to-ceiling window, in an obscenely expensive suit, looking like he just stepped out of a billionaire romance novel, was Adrian. Freaking Jordan holding a newspaper, and on the front page, in bold, horrifying letters, "Billionaire Adrian Jordan announces shock engagement to mystery woman." And beneath that, a huge, crystal-clear photo of me on one knee, drunkenly proposing. I let out a slow, horrified wheeze with shaking hands. I grabbed my phone, hoping this was all a fever dream. I had no such luck. Every news site, every gossip blog, every single social media platform was blowing up. Who is Nina? And how did she capture Adrian Jordan's heart? Adrian Jordan officially taken. Sorry, ladies. This is the most shocking billionaire romance plot twist since the royal wedding, and the worst one. Exclusive interview with Adrian Jordan's new fiancé coming soon. I choked. Interview? Who? With who? As if reading my mind, Adrian folded his newspaper with perfect, annoying elegance, turned to face me, and smirked. "Good morning, fiancé." I pointed at him, my entire body shaking. "Fix this." No. He shrugged. I agreed to the proposal. The world knows now. Might as well go along with it. I made a noise so high-pitched it could shatter glass. "You can't just, this is a joke, right? A prank. Where are the cameras?" "No cameras," Adrian said smoothly. "Just reality." I screamed into a pillow. "Why are you doing this?" I demanded. "Because it's amusing," he said, not even trying to lie. I gawked. "Amusing?" He walked toward me slowly, deliberately, his blue eyes gleaming with way too much enjoyment. "It's been a long time since someone caught me off guard," he mused. "So, you're keeping me around for entertainment?" "Exactly." I wanted to throw myself out the window. He reached into his pocket and tossed something onto the bed. "A huge, diamond-studded engagement ring, put that on," he said. "We have an interview in 2 hours." I just stared at him. Interview? In 2 hours, for an engagement that wasn't even real. I grabbed the pillow and screamed again. Chapter 3. 2 hours later, I was sitting in the most expensive-looking chair of my life, wearing a ridiculously elegant dress that Adrian's assistant forced onto me, and trying very, very hard not to pass out. In front of me, an intimidatingly polished TV host was beaming like she had just won the lottery. Cameras everywhere, people. Too many. Adrian Jordan, sitting beside me, cool, composed, and enjoying my suffering. "Welcome, everyone." The host smiled at the camera. "Today, we have a very special guest, Adrian Jordan, CEO of Jordan Industries, and his new fiancée, Nina." The audience clapped. I flinched. "Adrian?" "Perfectly calm. Me, trying not to choke on air." "Adrian," the host gushed, "your engagement shocked the entire country. How did it happen?" I opened my mouth to come up with some kind of fake, logical excuse, but Adrian beat me to it. "She proposed." The host gasped. The audience awed. The cameras zoomed in on my face. I laughed nervously and tried to salvage the situation. "Why, yeah, but, it was love at first sight," Adrian interrupted smoothly, his blue eyes glinting with amusement. "She saw me, she knew, and she dropped to one knee right then and there." What? I could feel my soul leaving my body. "How romantic," the host gasped. "So spontaneous." "Nina, tell us, what made you realize Adrian was the one so quickly?" The cameras zoomed in again. I was going to die. I cleared my throat and forced out a painfully fake smile. "You see, love works in mysterious ways," and Adrian, the walking nightmare, reached over and grabbed my hand. "She told me it was my eyes," he murmured, his voice low, intimate, an absolute lie. "She said I had the most breathtaking eyes she'd ever seen." The audience gushed. I mentally screamed. The host clasped her hands together, nearly in tears. "That's beautiful. Nina, what do you love most about Adrian?" "I hate him, I hate him, I hate him." I forced another painful smile, turned to Adrian, and said the first thing that popped into my head: his wallet. The audience went dead silent. The host's smile froze. Adrian arched a single, amused brow. I laughed awkwardly and corrected myself. "I mean, his generosity. Haha. A very giving person. Very kind. Yes. Haha. Totally not just here for his money. Nope." Adrian smirked. The host relaxed. The audience laughed. I wanted to pass out. The rest of the interview was a blur of chaos. Adrian effortlessly played the role of the doting fiancé. I, meanwhile, floundered like a fish out of water. By the time it ended, the world was completely convinced that Adrian Jordan and I were madly in love and preparing for the wedding of the century. I dragged Adrian away the moment we were off camera. "We need to talk," I hissed. He hummed. Completely unbothered. I shoved a newspaper at his annoyingly perfect face. "Jordan Industries announces CEO's upcoming wedding." Wedding? Adrian, what the hell?" He smirked. "I told you," he said smoothly, "you proposed." I stared at him. I inhaled, and then I did the only rational thing I could do. I screamed into a pillow. Chapter 4. Mistake number 1. Underestimating Adrian Jordan's psychotic level of control. I woke up at 5 a.m., determined today was the day. I was going to escape. No more interviews. No more fake engagements. No more smirking billionaires trapping me in a nightmare romance novel I never signed up for. I had a plan. A flawless, foolproof, completely untraceable plan. Step 1. Pack my things. Step 2. Sneak out of Adrian's penthouse. Step 3. Catch the first flight out of the country. Step 4. Change my name. Move to a small village, and become a goat farmer. I tiptoed to the closet where my bag was hidden, grabbed it, and going somewhere. I died right there. On the spot. Heart attack. Funeral. Goodbye. I turned slowly, like a criminal caught mid-crime, and there he was, Adrian Jordan, leaning against the doorway. Arms crossed. Amused as hell, wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt, like he had just woken up and immediately decided to ruin my life. "Morning?" I tried. He sighed. Nina, he said, calm, patient, like I was a misbehaving child. Did you really think you could run away from me? Yes. Yes, I did. Mistake number 2, attempting to lie to a billionaire. I casually hid the bag behind me. Run away? Me? Fut no. I laughed awkwardly. I was just, going for a walk. He tilted his head. With a suitcase? Exercise. His lips twitched. Interesting. He took one step closer. And where were you planning to exercise? I licked my lips. The airport. He blinked. Then he actually laughed. The airport? I scowled. Look, can you blame me? This entire situation is insane. I don't even remember proposing to you. And now the entire country thinks we're getting married? Adrian shrugged. You should drink responsibly. I nearly threw my suitcase at him. Mistake number 3, trying to run, again. I took a deep breath. Okay, fine. I screwed up. But we can still fix this. Fix what? Adrian asked, genuinely amused. This. I gestured wildly between us. The fake engagement. The wedding rumors. The fact that I'm currently living in your penthouse under billionaire hostage laws. He sighed, rubbing his temple like I was personally giving him a headache. Nina. He said my name like he was explaining math to a toddler. You do realize there is no way out of this, right? I froze. What? You think I would let you run away? He arched a brow. You publicly proposed to me. You wore my ring. Why you forced the ring on me? Irrelevant. I gawked. There's literally an easy way out of this. You, a rich, powerful billionaire, can just tell the media that we broke up. He smirked. Oh? You want to be known as the woman who got dumped by Adrian Jordan in less than a week? My stomach dropped. Oh no. He knew my pride wouldn't survive that. Mistake number 4, thinking Adrian would play fair. I swallowed. That's low. He stepped even closer, invading my personal space. You started this, sweetheart. His voice was dangerously soft. Now, you have 2 choices. Walk out there and tell the world you got dumped like last week's leftovers. He leaned down, his breath warm against my ear, or stay exactly where you are. I hated him. I hated him so much, but I also hated public humiliation even more. I groaned so loudly it echoed. Fine, I muttered. You win. He smirked. That's a good girl. I stomped off, dragging my suitcase behind me. Where are you going now? He asked, sounding thoroughly entertained. I shot him a glare. To my room. You mean our room? I whipped around so fast my neck almost snapped. What? What kind of engaged couple sleeps in separate rooms? He grinned. I stared at him, then at the massive, way too luxurious king-sized bed, then back at him. This was a nightmare. And Adrian Jordan, the devil himself. Chapter 5 Step 1. Escape the penthouse without getting caught. Adrian Jordan was a lot of things. Arrogant. Infuriating. Unfairly attractive in a way that should be illegal, but I refused to let him win. I lay in bed, wide awake, plotting. The man had trapped me into a fake engagement, and if I had to throw myself off the 70th floor of his penthouse to escape, so be it. I just needed to be smarter about it and no luggage this time. No dramatic exits. Just a casual, totally unsuspicious stroll to freedom. Mission: escape the penthouse. Objective: regain my life. Obstacle: billionaire fiancé from hell. I took a deep breath and slowly peeked over the blanket. The coast was clear. Adrian was asleep. His ridiculous 6-foot-something frame was stretched across the massive bed, completely relaxed for once. His breathing was even. His perfectly sculpted face looked annoyingly peaceful. Good. I slid out of bed like a ninja, tiptoeing toward the door. Almost there. Step 2. Don't get caught. I reached for the handle. Going somewhere? I screamed. Not a cute scream. Not a polite, startled yelp. A full body, horror movie, blood-curdling scream. I whipped around to find Adrian wide awake, one arm behind his head, watching me like he was utterly entertained by my failure. I blinked. How did you wake up? You breathe too loudly, he said calmly. And I figured you'd try to run again. I gawked. You what? So I set the security system to detect unauthorized movement. I am not an unauthorized movement. Tell that to the alarm that just activated. I froze and then beep. 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 A loud, shrill alarm echoed through the penthouse. I panicked. Oh my god. Beep. 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 Adrian sighed, sat up, and grabbed his phone. Stand down, he said into the speaker. The alarm immediately stopped. I stared at him, horrified. You have a bodyguard alert for me? Of course, he said casually. What kind of fiancé would I be if I let my darling bride-to-be get kidnapped? I pointed at myself. I am the kidnapped victim. Millimeter, he smirked. Then I guess I'm your captor. You should really stop trying to run, sweetheart. You're terrible at it. I threw a pillow at him. Step 3. Accept defeat. Again. I collapsed on the couch, groaning. How long do I have to suffer through this? Until the wedding, Adrian said smoothly. There is no wedding. Not yet. I squinted at him. You're messing with me, right? Am I? I hated him. Okay, fine. What do I have to do to get out of this? He leaned forward, grinning easy. Tell the world I dumped you. I glared. I would rather be publicly executed. Adrian knew it, and he was enjoying this way too much. I groaned, flopping dramatically onto the couch. This isn't fair. Life isn't fair, sweetheart. You're evil. He smirked. I know. Step 4. Cried. I grabbed another pillow and screamed into it. This was my life now. I was engaged to a billionaire sociopath who had bodyguards tracking my every movement and zero intentions of letting me go. I was doomed. And worst of all, Adrian Jordan was enjoying every second of my suffering. Chapter 6. I refused to be fake married to Satan's richer, hotter cousin, so I did what any sane person in my situation would do. I planned to make myself the worst fiancé ever. I had 3 strategies. 1. Destroy the wedding dress. Accidentally, of course. 2. Be so unbearable that even Adrian gets tired of me. Point 3. Turn his family against me. Step 1. Cause chaos at the dress fitting. Adrian arranged a dress appointment at some obnoxiously expensive bridal boutique, one of those places where everything was white, fragile, and terrifyingly expensive. He even insisted on coming. What kind of fiancé would I be if I didn't help pick your dress? He'd said. I'd scoffed. The kind that lets me pick my own dress. Not happening, sweetheart. I wanted to strangle him. The moment we arrived, I knew I was out of my league. A small army of stylists fluttered around me like I was actual royalty. Oh, Miss Nina, we've been expecting you. We have a selection of the finest custom gowns. I tried not to look guilty. If only they knew I was desperately trying not to get married. The boutique was insanely luxurious. Rows of white silk, diamonds, and lace lined the walls. A stylist ushered me into a dressing room the size of my entire apartment. Adrian made himself comfortable on the velvet couch outside, sipping espresso like a rich villain. Don't take too long, he said. I'm dying to see how ridiculous you look. I threw a veil at his head. I was strapped into a monstrous, $50,000 dress. It was gorgeous. But I refused to admit it. Step 1. Rip the train. I accidentally stepped on it. Step 2. Spill coffee on the silk. I accidentally knocked over a cup. Step 3. Fall dramatically and pretend it's cursed. I tripped over my own feet and wiped out. There was a collective gasp. Oh no, Miss Nina. The boutique employees rushed forward in horror. Adrian leaned back, smirking. Having fun? This dress is haunted, I announced. Or maybe you're just a disaster, he said. I glared. The boutique ladies whispered nervously. We have other dresses. Adrian nodded. Bring all of them. What? If you're going to make a mess, you should at least try them all. This backfired. Horribly. I spent 4 hours being paraded around in expensive dresses, while Adrian judged them like an evil fashion critic. By the time we left, I had a custom gown picked out. Mission failed. And worst of all, Adrian was having the time of his life. The dress plan was a disaster, but I had more tricks. I turned to Adrian, smiling sweetly. Hey, babe. His eyebrow arched. Yes. Since we're engaged, I should start making decisions for our wedding, right? Oh. His smirk widened. Like what? Matching wedding tattoos. The smirk disappeared. Excuse me? Big. Permanent. Your name on my forehead. My name on your neck. His eye twitched, or better yet, I continued. Nina's property. Right across your chest. I saw his soul leave his body. The boutique ladies gasped in horror. Adrian exhaled slowly. You're insufferable. I beamed. Step 2. Success. Chapter 7 Mission. Make Adrian run for his life. Objective. Introduce him to my insane family obstacle. He might be worse than them if I wanted to scare Adrian off. There was only one real solution, my family. Because if anyone could terrify a billionaire into calling off a wedding, it was my mother, father, and little brother. So, when my nosy mother called and said, "Bring your fiancé to dinner, darling," I said, "What fiancé?" And she said, "The one on the news. Don't be shy." And then I panicked, because I had no way out. Sunday evening. 7:00 p.m. Adrian and I stood outside my childhood home, a quaint little house that screamed suburban chaos. He looked obnoxiously calm, wearing a ridiculously expensive suit like he was attending a corporate takeover, not walking into a trap. "You look nervous, sweetheart." "Oh, I'm sorry," I snapped. "Am I supposed to be excited to introduce my fake fiancé to my very real family?" He smirked. "Too late to back out now." I wanted to scream. Instead, I rang the doorbell. The door flew open, and I immediately regretted everything. My mother stood there, beaming, wearing a pink floral apron and holding a spoon like a weapon. "Nina, sweetheart. And this must be Adrian." Before I could react, she grabbed Adrian's face, grabbed his actual billionaire face, and squished his cheeks like he was a toddler. "Oh, you're so handsome. Are you eating enough? You look a little pale." I froze. Adrian blinked and my mother was pinching his billionaire cheeks like he was an adorable pet. I waited for him to explode. Instead, "I get that a lot. He just went along with it." I gawked at him. Adrian Jordan, ruthless billionaire menace, was letting my mother hold his face like a meatball. "Well, come in. Dinner's getting cold." I turned to Adrian, whispering, "You can still run." "I think I'll stay," he murmured, smirking that I wanted to die. We sat at the family dinner table, surrounded by chaos. Mom kept sneaking extra food onto Adrian's plate. Dad was sharpening a knife for no reason. My little brother, Ethan, was staring at Adrian like a science experiment. And then, "So, Adrian." My father's voice was dead serious. "What are your intentions with my daughter?" I choked on my drink. "Dad, we don't have to marriage," Adrian said calmly. Silence. The whole table froze. Even my little brother looked impressed and my mother clapped her hands. "Oh, how lovely." "Not lovely," I yelped. Adrian turned to me, smirking. I kicked him under the table. "Oh," he said, looking amused. I glared. The night only got worse. My mom pulled out baby pictures. My dad told Adrian that if he ever hurt me, he'd bury him in the backyard. My little brother asked Adrian if he could have a sports car as a wedding gift. Adrian just laughed. He was having fun. Meanwhile, I was suffering. When we finally left, I turned to him, desperate. "Are you sure you still want to do this?" He smirked. "That was the most fun I've had in years." I screamed internally. Adrian Jordan was not normal, and worst of all, he fit into my insane family way too well. Chapter 8. The charity gala was a big deal. Rich people loved these events because it let them pretend they cared about charity while showing off their ridiculous wealth. Naturally, I planned to make a scene. I arrived in the most obnoxious pink sparkly dress I could find. It had feathers. It had glitter. It had so much tulle I looked like a wedding cake had exploded on me. I looked like a sugar plum nightmare. Adrian, standing by the entrance in his flawless black suit, took one look at me and smirked. Cute. I was trying to scare him off, and he thought I looked cute. I hated him. I grabbed his arm with a devious smile. "Let's cause a scene, darling. Lead the way, sweetheart." Why was he enjoying this? We walked into the grand ballroom, a sea of millionaires, CEOs, and influencers swirling around us. People turned, whispered. A waiter walked by with a tray of expensive champagne. I grabbed 2 glasses. Adrian took one, amused. I raised mine dramatically. "To our eternal love. To our beautiful disaster," he murmured, clinking glasses. Why was he flirting? I chugged my champagne. The event was boring. So I decided to fix that. I clung to Adrian's arm like a dramatic movie villain. I gasped loudly every time he spoke to another woman. I introduced myself as Mrs. Jordan to at least 5 people. I made up fake stories about our love. Adrian saved me from a burning building. Adrian proposed in a hot air balloon. Adrian wrote me a 500-page love letter in his own blood. Adrian just nodded like it was all true. I wanted to scream. Halfway through the night, I saw my chance. Adrian was talking to some important business guy. I walked up dramatically. I grabbed Adrian's face, and I said, loudly, "Kiss me like you mean it." Gasps. Silence. Adrian just smirked. Then, the menace actually tilted my chin up and kissed Emmy right there in front of everyone. My plan was ruined, because instead of embarrassing him, the media loved it. Adorable. So passionate. True love exist. I wanted to as we left the gala. I turned to Adrian, gritting my teeth. Why didn't that work? Because you're fun, he said, smirking. Fun? I stormed off, ignoring how much my stupid heart was racing. Adrian Jordan was going to be the death of me, and worst of all, I was starting to like it. Chapter 9. I woke up the next morning with one goal in mind. Operation: break off this fake engagement. Sure, every previous attempt had failed miserably, but this time, I had a flawless plan. Adrian was currently on a business trip, so I had time to think carefully, plan meticulously, and act strategically. Or, panic and Google how to escape. A fake engagement with a billionaire like a maniac. After 3 hours of reading horror stories about billionaires who never let go, I realized something important: I was doomed. Desperate, I called my best friend, Claire. Nina, I told you this would happen. I don't need I told you so. I need a plan. Have you considered faking your own death? I blinked. Too dramatic. Run away to another country? Too expensive. What if you just tell him you're done? Silence. Then I laughed hysterically because, wow, she really didn't get it. Claire. He's a billionaire with unlimited resources. You think I can just say, hey Adrian, this was fun, but let's break up, and he'll just, what? Nod and say sure, have a nice life. Maybe. I hung up. Claire was useless. Since running away wasn't an option, I needed a new plan. I decided to observe Adrian and find his biggest weakness. I waited until he returned from his business trip. The moment he walked into the penthouse, I pounced. Adrian. Sweetheart. I ignored the way that stupid pet name made me want to punch him. What's your biggest fear? He looked amused. Why? No reason. He pretended to think. Well, I used to be afraid of heights. I perked up. Weakness located. Then he smirked. Then I bought a helicopter. I wanted to scream. What about social anxiety? Public embarrassment. I don't embarrass easily. Lies. Everyone has something that makes them uncomfortable. I just had to find it. Since Adrian refused to give me an easy exit, I went back to my original plan. Be unbearable. I tried everything. Point 1. I put salt instead of sugar in his morning coffee. He drank it without reacting. Point 2. I accidentally sent a wedding invitation to his entire business network. He simply sent out a follow-up confirming the wonderful news. 3. I filled his walk-in closet with Crocs. He wore them to a board meeting. Nothing. This man was unkillable. I was running out of options. I sat on the couch, mentally screaming. Adrian, calm as ever, was reading a book like I wasn't losing my mind, so he said lazily, flipping a page. What's your next move? I narrowed my eyes. Why are you like this? Like what? Annoyingly calm. Infuriatingly smug. A menace to my existence. He closed the book, smirking. Because you make it fun. I groaned. I needed to step up my game. So, naturally, I did what any rational person would do. I went to his office the next day, and pretended to be a terrible assistant. I marched into his office wearing fake glasses and holding a clipboard. Good morning, Mr. Jordan. He looked up, amused. Nina. Why are you here? I am your new assistant. He leaned back in his chair. Oh? What happened to my real assistant? No idea. But I am here now, and I am incompetent. He laughed. All right, sweetheart. Impress me. I immediately spilled coffee on his desk. Then I scheduled all his meetings at the same time. Then I answered his phone calls with who dis, and hung up. Still, he did not fire me. You're really committed to this, he said, grinning. Why won't you just fire Emmy? Because you're too much fun. I was going to lose my mind that night. I sat on the couch, completely defeated. Adrian, as usual, looked perfectly relaxed. So, sweetheart, he said, smirking. Are you done trying to escape me? I groaned into a pillow. Why are you like this? Because watching you struggle is my favorite hobby. That's evil. It's adorable. I screamed internally. At this point, there was only one thing left to do. If Adrian Jordan refused to let me go, I'd have to make him fall for me first. Then, and only then, I could break his heart and escape for good. New mission. Make Adrian Jordan fall in love. Let's see how he likes it. Chapter 10. Mission. Make Adrian fall for me. Objective. Break his heart and escape. This might be the worst idea I've ever Hardy have made many terrible decisions in my life. That time I tried to give myself bangs at 2 a.m. The time I thought I could outdrink a Russian guy on vacation. The time I agreed to fake date a billionaire thinking I could control the situation, but this was my worst plan yet. Because Adrian Jordan was completely unshakable. He didn't get flustered, he didn't get jealous. And he definitely didn't seem like the type to fall head over heels just because I batted my eyelashes and called him darling, which meant I needed to step up my game. I started small. I made him coffee every morning with a little heart drawn in the foam. You made this? Adrian asked, sipping it. With love, I said sweetly. He narrowed his eyes. I batted my lashes. Then, I burned the next cup so badly the fire alarm went off. Baby steps. I forced him to go on a cliché couple date. Picnic in the park? Done matching sweaters? Absolutely. Couples pottery class? Oh, you better believe I dragged him there. He sat stiffly, arms crossed, looking like a hostage. The instructor handed us a lump of clay. Now, gently mold it together. Adrian immediately smashed the clay into an unrecognizable blob. Romantic. I am not an artist, he said flatly, clearly. At the end of the class, I proudly showed off my lopsided bowl. Adrian stared at it. What is that? Our love, molded into physical form. It's ugly. So is love. I was winning. The goal was simple. Make Adrian jealous. Make him realize his deep, burning love for me. I decided to test this theory by flirting with one of his business associates at a fancy dinner. Oh, Chad, you're so funny. I laughed, touching his arm. I sneaked a glance at Adrian. He looked bored, so I turned it up a notch. Chad, I just love a man who'd. Before I could finish, Adrian casually pulled me onto his lap. The entire table went silent. Sweetheart, Adrian murmured, voice smooth as silk. If you wanted my attention, you could have just asked. I choked on air the way he said it. The look in his eyes. The lazy smirk. I lost. Excuse us, Adrian said, lifting me out of my chair, and then he carried me out of the restaurant. Like some kind of romance novel caveman. I was doomed. At this point, I had one last strategy. Drunken love confession, not mine, obviously. Adrian never drank much, but I convinced him to have a few drinks with me. I, of course, drank way too much. I flopped onto the couch dramatically. Adrian, I slurred. Tell me a secret. He chuckled, amused. Like what? Like, how much you're in love with me, I teased, poking his chest. His eyes darkened. For a second, I thought I won. Then he leaned in and whispered, you first. I blacked out immediately. I woke up the next morning with a headache, and the sinking feeling that I had lost control of my own game. Adrian was unaffected. If anything, he was enjoying this. Meanwhile, I was too aware of him. The way he looked at me, the way he smirked when I got flustered, the way I was starting to lose sight of the mission, because the truth was I was dangerously close to falling for him. And if that happened, I was really, really screwed. Chapter 11. Current situation. Objective, make Adrian Jordan fall for me. Progress, somehow, I'm the one losing. Threat level, extreme backup plan. Cried that I should have known things were going downhill when Adrian handed me a dress. Not just any dress. A black, backless, silky, expensive as hell dress that screamed, I belong to a billionaire and I know it. Wear this, he said, or? I challenged, or I'll pick something worse. 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 This man was capable of making me show up in a wedding dress just to mess with me, so I shut up and put it on. And that's how I ended up at a billionaire charity gala with Adrian Jordan's hand casually resting on my lower back like we weren't in a psychological warfare situation. Smile, darling, he whispered in my ear. You look nervous. I was, because I was surrounded by the richest people in the country, and I was a broke girl in a borrowed dress with a stolen glass of champagne. And then, the real disaster happened. I left Adrian alone for 5 minutes. Just 5. And by the time I turned around, a stunningly beautiful blonde was clinging to his arm, laughing at something he said, and he was smirking at her. I panicked. I was supposed to be the one making him jealous, not the other way around, so, naturally, I made the worst decision possible. I grabbed the nearest man. You're handsome, I blurted. The man looked very confused. Thanks. I latched onto his arm. I'm wildly in love with you, I said dramatically, and then I turned my head and locked eyes with Adrian, and I knew that I was so dead. He did not react immediately. He just tilted his head slightly, raised a single eyebrow, then, in slow motion, he excused himself from the blonde, and walked towards me. Sweetheart, he said smoothly, wrapping an arm around my waist. Adrian, I squeaked. Who's this? he asked, eyeing the poor man I had grabbed. I did not know. I literally did not know this man's name, but I had committed to the bit, so I went, my soulmate. The man choked on his drink. Adrian nodded slowly. Your soulmate? Yes, I said stubbornly. You're in love with him? Deeply. Adrian smirked then, before I could process what was happening, he leaned in, his lips brushing my ear. Liar. Oh no. I decided right then and there that I needed to leave this gala immediately, so I did what any reasonable person would do. I grabbed my dress, kicked off my shoes and bolted like full sprint. Nina? Adrian called after me. Nope. Not today. I barefoot ran through a room full of billionaires like a deranged Cinderella, and then, because God hates me, I tripped. Not just any trip. I tripped over my own foot and fell face first into a freaking chocolate fountain. There was a loud splash. Silence. Then, oh my God, is that Adrian's fiancée? She's drowning in chocolate. Why is she like this? That poor man. I sat in Adrian's car, covered in chocolate, while he sat beside me, completely silent, not laughing, not smirking, not saying a single word, which was infinitely worse. Finally, I cracked. Go on. Say it. He turned to me, expression unreadable. Say what? That I'm an idiot. You're not an idiot, he said. A pause, then, with zero emotion, you're just the most ridiculous woman I've ever met. I groaned. He grinned, and I knew I had lost again. Chapter 12. A recap of my current life choices. Accidentally got engaged to Adrian Jordan, terrifying billionaire. Failed to scam him, failed to seduce him, fell into a chocolate fountain status, losing at life. The morning after my public chocolate-covered humiliation, I woke up in Adrian's ridiculously massive penthouse. Why? Because after the gala disaster, Adrian took one look at my chocolate-soaked dress and said, "You're not going home like that." So now, I was sitting in his fancy silk robe, sipping coffee like I belonged here, even though I absolutely did not. The problem, Adrian was staring at me, just standing there, arms crossed, leaning against the counter like some hot villain who was about to deliver bad news. What? I finally snapped. I'm just wondering, he said, tilting his head, why you always manage to humiliate yourself in public. I threw a croissant at his face. He caught it without breaking eye contact and took a bite like some kind of smug, food-catching demon. I decided to leave before he psychologically destroyed me further. I stood, cleared my throat, smoothed down my robe. Anyway, I should go. No, I froze. No? You're staying here, Adrian said, taking another bite of the stolen croissant. Like, for breakfast? Indefinitely. What? I have a home. No, you don't, he said smoothly. Yes, I do. You haven't paid rent in 2 months. Oh. Right. Still. I can't just. You live here now, he said casually, sipping his coffee. Congratulations. This is kidnapping. You proposed to me, remember? This is just marriage. Adrian's assistant, Daniel, was the bane of my existence. Good morning, Miss Nina, he said, expression blank. Shut up, Daniel, I snapped. I have a schedule of your new responsibilities as Mr. Jordan's fiancé. I don't want it. Too bad. He handed me a leather-bound planner. It was so unnecessarily expensive that I almost cried. Then I opened it and screamed. Monday, attend business dinner Tuesday, charity function Wednesday, press interview Thursday, gala Friday, possible elopement? To be determined. Possible elopement. Daniel adjusted his tie. Mr. Jordan suggested, adding an element of surprise. I turned to Adrian, horrified. He was calmly sipping his coffee. You are actually insane, I said. You proposed, he reminded me. I'm just helping you follow through. Oh my God. If I thought things couldn't get worse, I was so wrong, because an hour later Daniel came back with a smug face. And worse news, Mr. Jordan's parents are requesting a dinner with you tonight. I dropped my coffee cup. Adrian's parents. As in, the terrifying billionaire power couple. As in, the people who produced this chaotic demon of a man. Oh, I can't, I said quickly. I'm busy. Daniel didn't even blink. You're not. I have a previous engagement. You don't. I might die before dinner. Then it will be a funeral dinner. Daniel. Adrian finally spoke, smirking at my suffering. You'll be fine, he said. I won't, I muttered. Don't be dramatic. Your mother eats people alive. She only does that if she doesn't like you. So I'm going to die. Adrian just grinned. We'll see. Chapter 16. New things I've learned today. 1. I have lost all control over my life. Point 2. Adrian Jordan is the devil in an expensive suit. Point 3. Daniel is a menace to society. Status. Wedding bells are ringing, and I am not ready. The moment we got back to Adrian's penthouse, I did what any rational person in my situation would do. I locked myself in the bathroom. Nina. Adrian knocked. Casually. Like he wasn't a criminal. Go away. You can't stay in there forever. Watch me. I'll give you 5 minutes. What happens after 5 minutes? Silence. Oh, no. I barely had time to panic before the door unlocked. How? Master key, Adrian said, amused. Come on, I made dinner. I am not eating your evil food. Suit yourself. He strolled off like he hadn't just broken into my emotional support hiding spot. Eventually, hunger won. When I stepped into the dining room, Adrian was calmly eating steak while Daniel stood nearby, looking like he lived for my suffering. Oh good, Daniel grinned. The hostage has emerged. I hate both of you. That's nice, dear, Adrian said, not looking up. Eat. I sat down, scowling. I want a lawyer. No, a priest. No witness protection. Eat your food, Nina. I was trapped. Just when I thought I could breathe, Adrian's phone rang. I knew something was wrong the moment his expression darkened. What? He said, voice ice cold. Even Daniel's smirk disappeared. I froze mid-bite. Should I be worried? Adrian's eyes flicked to me. Pack a bag, he said. Why? Because we're leaving. What? Chapter 17, New Things I've Learned Today. 1. Adrian Jordan does not believe in explanations. Point 2. Daniel enjoys my suffering a little too much. Point 3. I am once again being dragged into a situation I do not understand. Status. Packing under duress. I sat there, fork frozen in midair, as Adrian calmly returned to eating like he hadn't just dropped a nuclear bomb on my life. Excuse me? I blinked. Where exactly are we going? I'll tell you when we get there. No. Tell me now. Pack a bag, Nina. I turned to Daniel, who was already enjoying this too much. Daniel, I pleaded. Where are we going? Oh, sweetheart. He grinned. I'd love to tell you, but where's the fun in that? I was going to strangle him. 15 minutes later, I was in my room, furiously shoving things into a suitcase. What do you even pack for a forced trip? Escape supplies? A fake passport? A shovel to bury Adrian. I grabbed 3 random dresses, a hoodie, some jeans, and a pair of sneakers. Then, for good measure, I wrote a goodbye letter to my landlord, in case I never came back. Dear Mr. Patel, if you're reading this, I have either been murdered or sold to the black market. Please give my plants to Mrs. Thompson in 4B. Also, I left my Netflix logged in. Enjoy, Nina. I folded it neatly and stuffed it under my pillow. I was ready. I stepped out of my room with my suitcase, mentally preparing for war, but the moment I turned the corner, I slammed into Adrian's chest. Whoa there, sweetheart. He caught my waist. Where is your soul? I hissed. Lost it years ago. Let's go. What if I don't want to? Adrian tilted his head. You don't have a choice. I turned to Daniel. Daniel, as a fellow human being, surely you. Oh no. Daniel grinned. I'm fully supporting this. Traitor. Before I knew it, I was being stuffed into a private jet. I don't know why I was surprised. Of course he had a private jet. Where are we going? I demanded as I dramatically threw myself onto a seat. Adrian finally decided to answer. The villa. Villa? I narrowed my eyes. What villa? The one in Italy. Italy? I can't just go to Italy. You can, and you are. What if I have responsibilities? Adrian leaned back, smirking. You don't. Excuse me. Daniel took care of everything. I turned to Daniel. What did you do? Daniel shrugged. Told your landlord you'd be away on business. Told your favorite cafe you died. You what? Adrian chuckled. Relax, Nina. Relax. I was being kidnapped to Italy. Chapter 18, New Things I've Learned Today. 1. Adrian Jordan doesn't do anything half-heartedly. Point 2. Daniel will 100% lie to people for fun. Point 3. I have, in fact, been kidnapped, this time internationally. Status. In Italy, against my will. I don't remember falling asleep on the jet, but when I woke up, we were already in Italy. I blinked at the view outside. Warm sun, blue skies, expensive cars waiting on the tarmac. What fresh hell is this? Welcome back, sir, someone greeted Adrian the moment he stepped off the jet. Millimeter. Adrian nodded, completely unbothered while I was still processing my entire existence. Daniel, as usual, was thriving. Italy, he sighed. Land of romance, good food, and questionable decisions. He winked at me. Speaking of which, hi, hostage. I am going to drown you. Adrian's villa turned out to be a full-blown mansion. I gawked as we drove through the gigantic gates that looked like they cost more than my entire life. Who needs a house this big? I can't live here, I whispered in horror. You can, Adrian said. And you will. I turned to Daniel, hoping for mercy. I don't belong here. True, he said cheerfully. You belong in a reality show about people making bad choices. I hope your pillow is always warm. Inside, the house was worse. Marble floors. Insanely high ceilings. Art that probably belonged in a museum. I walked into the bedroom Adrian had so graciously assigned me and nearly screamed. Why? Because it was attached to his room. I turned to Adrian. Excuse me. What is this? Your room. Why does it have a connecting door? Convenience. I stared at him. Convenience? For who? He just smirked. Oh no. I needed a way out. Option A, swim to another country. Option B, marry a local and fake my death. Option C, somehow, someway, get Adrian to let me go. Option C is a joke. Adrian will never let me go. That night, dinner was served on a balcony overlooking the ocean. The food was delicious. The atmosphere was beautiful. The company, terrible. So, I said, how long are you keeping me here? Adrian didn't even blink. Forever. I choked. What? Kidding. He took a sip of wine. Probably. Daniel snorted. You're hilarious, boss. I am not laughing. Adrian leaned back. Eat your food, Nina. I was in hell. Chapter 19 New Things I've Learned Today 1. The villa is basically Fort Knox. Point 2. Adrian Jordan finds my suffering entertaining. Point 3. Daniel is the devil in human form. Status. Attempted to escape. Failed spectacularly. I waited until midnight. The house was silent, the guards had changed shifts, and Adrian had gone into his room, probably to recharge his villain energy. Perfect. I threw on sneakers, stuffed a hoodie over my pajamas, and quietly opened my balcony door. The plan? Climb down, sneak through the garden, and find a way out. Yes, I was aware this plan was terrible. I managed to swing my leg over the railing and lower myself down. I was doing great until I realized the drop was a lot higher than I thought, and I had no upper body strength, and Adrian was standing below me, watching, going somewhere. His voice drawled in the darkness. I yelped. Holy, and then, because my life is a joke, I lost my grip and fell. Right on top of him. We crashed to the ground. I survived. So did Adrian. Unfortunately. Well, he said, his voice muffled against my shoulder. This is new. I wanted to scream. I gasped. Why were you standing here? He smirked in the moonlight. I had a feeling you'd do something stupid. I hate him now, he continued smoothly. Are you going to walk back inside, or should I carry you? I was about to curse him out, but then I saw Daniel standing on the balcony above, recording everything on his phone. Oh, don't mind me, he grinned. This is gold. I let out a slow, defeated sigh. Fine. I'm walking. The next morning, I woke up to a locked balcony door. Adrian Jordan put me on house arrest. Daniel walked in, barely containing his laughter. Well, he said. How does it feel to have your escape attempt backfire so spectacularly? I glared. Daniel, I hope your next coffee tastes like betrayal. He just winked. Too late. It already does. At breakfast, Adrian was annoyingly smug. Sleep well? He asked, sipping his coffee. I hope your pillow is always slightly warm, I muttered. He chuckled. Cute. I'm going to lose it. Chapter 20 New Things I've Learned Today 1. Adrian Jordan is an evil genius. Point 2. Daniel has no loyalty to me whatsoever. Point 3. I might actually be losing my mind. Status. Losing a battle of wits with a billionaire. I sat at the massive breakfast table, sipping my coffee like a dignified prisoner. Adrian sat across from me, calmly reading the newspaper. Like a villain in a spy movie. He was enjoying this. I could feel it in my soul. I tried to ignore him, But after 5 minutes of pure, smug silence, I cracked, "You're enjoying this, aren't you?" "Of course. You're a terrible person. I've been called worse." "I hate him." Daniel, sitting beside me, casually buttered his toast. "He's not even trying that hard, Nina. You're making it too easy." "Whose side are you on?" "The side with free food." For the next several hours, Adrian made sure to casually remind me that I wasn't going anywhere. The private driver I tried to bribe, already paid by Adrian, the house staff, 100% loyal to Adrian, my phone, mysteriously disappeared, and just when I thought he couldn't get worse, he left his credit card on the coffee table right in front of me like a trap. I stared at it. What kind of psychological warfare is this? After a full minute of suspicious silence, Adrian glanced at me and smirked. "Go ahead," he said. "Buy whatever you want." I immediately put my hands in my lap. I wasn't falling for this. Daniel, however, was thriving. "Take it, Nina," he said cheerfully. "Treat yourself." "No." Adrian just sipped his coffee, clearly amused. I hate them both. Later that afternoon, I tried to sneak out through the kitchen. Big mistake. Because I forgot that Adrian has literal security cameras everywhere. I had barely made it to the back door when a deep voice spoke from behind me. "Where do you think you're going?" I jumped so hard I almost died. Turning around, I found Adrian standing there, arms crossed, looking like the very definition of smug. "This man is everywhere." I gave him my most innocent look. "I was just getting some fresh air." Millimeter, he didn't look convinced. "Try again." "Fine," I muttered. I was escaping. "Appreciate the honesty." And then, before I could react, Adrian bent down, grabbed me, and threw me over his shoulder. "Put me down, you overgrown menace." No, I have never known humiliation like this. Locked up, again. By the time he dumped me back on the couch, I was red-faced and furious. "This is kidnapping. This is keeping you safe. You are a psychopath. And you are very bad at escaping." I hate him so much. Daniel, meanwhile, was recording everything again. "This is my new favorite show," he announced, "and I'm going to set his phone on fire." Chapter 21 New Things I've Learned Today. 1. I am not above begging for my freedom. Point 2. Adrian is not above enjoying it. Point 3. Daniel is not above selling popcorn during my suffering. Status: still trapped. Still humiliated. Still plotting. Since escaping like a ninja wasn't working, I decided to try a new strategy. Diplomacy. So, I marched into Adrian's study, where he was sitting behind his massive billionaire desk, looking like an evil CEO in a drama series. "We need to talk." He barely glanced up from his laptop. "Do we?" UGH. I slammed my hands down on his desk. "Yes. You are holding me against my will, and I think we need to negotiate my release." "Negotiate?" He raised an eyebrow. "Yes. I have rights." "Go on," he said, amused. I took a deep breath. "I will stop trying to escape if you let me go." Adrian actually laughed. "That's not a negotiation, Nina. That's a demand." "Okay, fine. I'll stop trying to escape if you at least let me go to a cafe or something." He leaned back, considering. No. I wanted to flip his desk over. "You are literally the worst person I have ever met." "That's dramatic." I crossed my arms and tried again. "What do you want in exchange for my freedom?" He smirked. "Marry me." I died. I died right there. "What?" "No. Shame." He went back to typing. I stormed into Daniel's room, looking for backup. "Do something." Daniel, lying on his bed, scrolling through his phone, barely looked up. "What exactly do you want me to do?" "I don't know. Stage a protest. Help me escape. Poison his tea. Risk my paycheck or enjoy free food. Tough choice." "Daniel. Look, if you really want to leave, just seduce him." I stared. "What?" I choked. "What kind of advice is that?" Daniel just shrugged. "He's obviously obsessed with you. Use that." I wanted to strangle him. Since Adrian was so determined to keep me here, I decided to make him want me to leave. How? By becoming the most annoying person in his life. Step 1. Follow him everywhere he tried to work. I sat in his office, chewing gum loudly. He went to the gym. I sat on a yoga mat, eating chips, and judging he had business calls. I played loud, dramatic soap operas on full volume. Step 2. Ruin his billionaire lifestyle. I rearranged his bookshelves in the most chaotic way possible. I switched his coffee to decaf. I hid all his expensive pens and replaced them with glittery unicorn ones. Step 3. Make him uncomfortable. A tea dinner. I leaned in too close, so I whispered, staring deep into his soul. Do you believe in love? Adrian blinked. What? Like, real, deep, heart-wrenching love. The kind that makes you feel like you're floating in space. He slowly put his fork down. Are you okay? Daniel was literally choking on his drink. Nina, what are you doing? He wheezed, being annoying. Adrian sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. You are exhausting. Success.it was working. Adrian was visibly irritated, and I knew if I pushed a little more, he'd break. So I decided to go all in that night. I snuck into his room. Not to do anything suspicious, but to paint his toenails while he slept. It was foolproof, until I tripped over a chair. Adrian jerked awake immediately. Nina. This isn't what it looks like. He turned on the lamp. You're holding a bottle of nail polish. Okay, maybe it is what it looks like. We stared at each other. Adrian sighed. Get in the bed. What? Excuse me? You're already in my room, and I'm too tired to deal with you. So you're just gonna, deal with me later? Exactly. Chapter 22 Things I've Learned Today. 1. Adrian Jordan has zero patience for my nonsense. Point 2. I have zero self-control when it comes to being annoying. Point 3. Daniel is still useless. Status. Still trapped. Still suffering. Still plotting. I woke up in a billionaire's bed. Let's get one thing straight. Nothing happened. I repeat. Nothing happened. I woke up in Adrian's bed because he bullied me into staying after catching me mid-nail polish crime. So there I was, groggy and confused, staring at the ceiling of a man who has way too much money and trying to remember why I wasn't in my own bed. And then I felt something warm and solid against my back. Oh no. I turned my head very slowly and Adrian was right there. Asleep. Oh no. No. My entire soul left my body. His arm was casually draped around me. He's breathing deep and even, looking like some Greek god who just casually existed to ruin my life. I needed to get out. The Great Escape Attempt #78. I slowly lifted his arm. It was heavy. Too heavy. I wiggled. Nothing. I wiggled harder. Still nothing. Adrian made a sound. I froze. Then, suddenly, his arm tightened. I choked back a scream. He pulled me closer. Where do you think you're going? His voice was husky, still heavy with sleep. I died. He didn't even open his eyes. Go back to sleep. Excuse me? Go back to sleep. Do I look like I can just casually relax? Yes. He yawned. Stop talking. Stop talking. I struggled harder. He didn't budge. After 20 minutes of unsuccessful escape attempts, I gave up, which was the exact moment the door burst open. Daniel, holding his phone. Holy sh, Daniel, it's not what it looks like. Oh, it is exactly what it looks like. Adrian, unbothered, finally opened his eyes. Why are you screaming in my room? Why is she in your bed? Why are you in my house? Adrian shot back. Daniel ignored him and pointed a shaky finger at me. Did you sleep together? No. Adrian smirked. Not yet. I wanted to throw myself out the window. Daniel looked between us, horrified. I need to go to church. Take me with you. After finally escaping the bed of doom, I stomped into the dining room, still traumatized. Daniel was already texting furiously, probably spreading false rumors about my fake billionaire affair. Adrian? Cool as ever. Sitting at the head of the table, drinking his expensive coffee like he hadn't just committed morning war crimes. You're glaring at me. Oh, am I? I hadn't noticed. He sipped his coffee. You're dramatic in the mornings. I'm dramatic all the time. Daniel nodded in agreement. Traitor. I stabbed my fork into my pancake with pure rage. Daniel, ever the menace, decided this was the perfect time to add fuel to the fire. So, are we just gonna ignore the fact that Adrian is obviously into you? I choked on my juice. Adrian? Unbothered. I never said I wasn't. I choked harder. Daniel's eyes widened. Oh. My. God. No. Stop. Do not make this a thing. Adrian. Smirking. Looking amused. You're making this a thing. I am not. Daniel. Cackling like a witch. I hate my life. After breakfast, I stormed into the living room, determined to reclaim my sanity. Adrian followed me. Of course he did. Are you done sulking? I am not sulking. I am processing my trauma. I kissed you once. That's hardly trauma. I wanted to throw a lamp at him. Instead, I grabbed a pillow and screamed into it. Are you 5? Yes. He sighed. You're acting like you hate me. I do hate you. That's not what you said last night. Ah. Chapter 27 Things I've Learned Today 1. My life is a circus, and I'm the main act. Point 2. Adrian enjoys watching me suffer. Point 3. This wedding is happening whether I like it or not. Status. Trapped. I barged into Daniel's room for the 100th time. We have a problem. He didn't even look up. Is it that you're in love with Adrian? What? No. Shut up, heart. Not now. I threw a bridal magazine at his head. The problem is that the wedding is in 2 weeks. Daniel sighed. Yes, Nina. That's how weddings work. I grabbed another magazine. Fix it. You're hopeless. I will strangle him. The next day, I found Adrian in his study, smirking like a villain. What now? I groaned. The invitations went out today. I froze. You sent out the invitations? Yes. With my name on them? Yes. I grabbed the nearest thing, a very expensive pen holder, and launched it at his face. He caught it with one hand. Damn him and his stupidly fast reflexes. You'll thank me later, he said. I will not. Damn, why mother called me that night. Nina, I just got the invitation. Surprise. Why did I have to find out from the mail? Blame Adrian. Oh, I will. But first, Nina, do you even know what you're doing? No. No, I did not. Meanwhile, in the background, my father. Tell him to sign a prenup. Adrian, somehow on the call. Already not happening. And my dad started screaming. I hung up. This was a disaster. 2 days before the wedding, Adrian forced me to attend a rehearsal. It was humiliating. I tripped on my dress. Adrian caught me and the room went dead silent. Someone whispered, wow, they really are in love. No, we are not. Adrian smirked down at me. You good? I am going to kill him. The night before the wedding, I sat in my room, fully panicked that I had one last chance to escape. Or did I? Daniel knocked on my door, looking suspiciously smug. What do you want? I glared. He grinned. I'm just here to remind you that, in exactly 12 hours, you'll be Mrs. Adrian Jordan. My soul left my body. Daniel, stop. Mrs. Jordan. Shut up. Mrs. Adrian Jordan. I'm going to strangle you. I couldn't sleep, not because I was nervous. Okay, I was nervous. Not because the world was watching. Okay, they were. But because I couldn't stop thinking about Adrian. Oh God. Chapter 28 Things I've Learned Today 1. People take weddings way too seriously. Point 2. Adrian looks annoyingly good in a tux. Point 3. I might actually be in love with my fake fiancé. Status. Praying for a natural disaster. I woke up to Daniel shaking me violently. Nina, wake up. It's your wedding day. No. Yes. I'm not going. Daniel grabbed my arm and started dragging me out of bed. Oh, yes, you are. Daniel, I swear you already signed the marriage license. I froze. Wait. What? When? Daniel grinned. Adrian got you to sign it when you were drunk 3 nights ago. That son of a. The wedding dress was a beast. It took 3 stylists, 1 personal assistant, and a prayer circle to get me into it. It's too tight. It's perfect. I can't breathe. You don't need air. You need to look stunning. I am going to pass out. Adrian stood at the altar, smirking like a villain. Daniel, his best man, whispered, she might run. Adrian adjusted his cuffs. She won't. How was he so confident? The wedding march started. Oh God. This was happening. I gripped my dad's arm. Dad. I can't do this. You're already doing it. Stop walking. Too late. Dad, I swear. Before I knew it, I was standing right in front of Adrian and he was smirking. The priest smiled. Do you, Adrian Jordan, take Nina to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do. No hesitation. I turned to him, horrified. You could at least pretend to struggle with the decision. Why would I? Smug. So smug. The priest turned to me. And do you, Nina, take Adrian to be your lawfully wedded husband? I paused. Adrian raised an eyebrow. Daring me say it, he murmured. Oh, I hated him, Maybe, I do. There. It's done. Goodbye. Freedom. He kissed me. In front of everyone. And the worst part? I kissed him back. Chapter 29 Things I've learned today. 1. Being married to Adrian Jordan is worse than I thought. Point 2. The media is going crazy. Point 3. I might have made a huge mistake. Status. Someone help me. The moment Adrian pulled away from the kiss, the crowd exploded. Cheering. Flashing lights. Screams. And I was still processing the fact that I just married this man. You okay? Adrian whispered. I turned to him, eyes wide. Did we just get married? He chuckled. That's usually what happens at weddings. I am going to scream. The wedding reception was a billionaire's dream. Golden chandeliers, champagne fountains, and a cake the size of a small child, and me, trying not to have a mental breakdown. I grabbed Daniel. Help me. Daniel sipped his champagne. Nope. Daniel, I'm serious. So is your husband. Stop calling him that. Oh God. I forgot about this part. Adrian led me to the dance floor, smirking the whole time. Relax, Mrs. Jordan. I choked on air. Don't call me that. Why? It's your name now. I am going to pass out. While we danced, I could hear people whispering, they look so in love. Did you see the way he kissed her? That wasn't a kiss, that was a claim. What does that even mean? Meanwhile, Adrian just kept smirking. He was enjoying this. Are you having fun? He murmured. I am suffering. Good. He is the devil. And then it hit me. The wedding night. I turned to Daniel. Where am I sleeping tonight? Daniel grinned. With your husband, obviously. Oh no. Oh no. I am in danger. Final chapter. Things I've learned today. 1. There's no escaping Adrian Jordan. Point 2. Being a billionaire's wife is exhausting. Point 3. I might actually like him. Status. Acceptance is the final stage of grief. I sat on the bed, staring at Adrian. He looked too comfortable. Like he belonged there. You're staring, he said lazily. I scowled. I'm assessing my life choices. He smirked. And I hate him. Maybe. I spent the next few weeks trying to convince myself that this was all temporary. But guess what? I was wrong. Adrian was everywhere, stealing my pillows, taking up my space, existing in my general vicinity, and worst of all, I didn't hate it. 1 month later, I was in the kitchen, minding my own business, when Adrian strolled in. Morning, Mrs. Jordan. I spilled my coffee. I turned to him, horrified. Stop calling me that. He took a sip of his coffee. Why? You like it? I do not. Okay, maybe a little. One night, I was half asleep, curled up next to Adrian. He ran a hand through my hair. Still want to escape? I mumbled, maybe later. He chuckled. That's what I thought. And that's when I realized that I was doomed. I went from accidentally engaged to accidentally in love, and the worst part, Adrian knew it all along.
Adrian's POV. Things I've learned today. 1. Nina is still in denial. Point 2. I don't mind waiting. Point 3. She's already mine. Status, married. Not sorry about it. I watched Nina from across the room. She was pretending to be annoyed at me. Keyword, pretending. She huffed, crossing her arms. I still don't know how this happened. I leaned back, smirking. You married me. By accident. You signed the papers. I was drunk. You still signed them. Checkmate. Of the night after our wedding, I caught her stealing my pillows. She was half asleep, curled up on my side of the bed. That's when I knew she could fight it all she wanted, but she wasn't going anywhere. Nina was sitting on the couch, glaring at me. You're looking at me weird. I took a sip of my coffee. You're my wife. We've been over this. I know. I just like saying it. She groaned. You're impossible. I smirked. And you're mine. Her face turned red. Victory. Nina thinks this was all an accident. It wasn't. She just hasn't realized it yet, but she will. I'll make sure of it. The end.